All right. My name is Faith Warren.
My name is Donte Tucker.
Welcome to our podcast, The Heartbeat of Leadership. All right, then. Woo! This has been 2 years in the making. I knew 2 years ago, Donte, I said to you, Donte, I need to do a podcast.
Yes.
I need to find a way to inspire people to just take care of each other, you know, and they can take care of business. It's so interesting how I see people suffer so much every day at a job that they have to go to make a living. But yet the environments are toxic, the leadership is not the best, and people are miserable. And I want to do something to help. So what I did is I came up with this podcast. And I asked you to join me, Donte. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm excited because you're one of the best leaders I know. You know, and I think I had a little bit of something to do with that. I model leadership with you. We talk about leadership, and we've had so many conversations about leadership. And you are a leader in organizations, and you've been a leader. You always led your group of friends growing up. You were the leader. I mean, it was just so funny how it's come home. And you had all your friends doing your chores. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, how did he influence them? And I'm like, how did Donte get you to do his, help him with his chores? Well, he said if he got his chores done, then he could play. I was like, oh my gosh, my son's a leader. I need to make sure that he influences people the right way. If he's going to be a leader, I wanted you to be one of those leaders that influence the right way. And I believe you are one of those leaders today. So I'm really proud of you, son.
Thank you.
All right. So a little bit about me. I am a leader. I've been in leadership since the age of 10. My mom passed away. I had to help take care of my sisters and my baby brother. And I did my best to help run that household with my dad. And that's where I learned influential leadership. I couldn't do any punishing for my siblings if they didn't get their chores done, if they didn't do things that they were supposed to do. But I learned how to influence them, build a relationship with them, encourage them, and talk to them. So that was the foundation of my leadership right there. My first job working at Frontier City, I instantly became a leader there in a supervisor position, and then the rest is history. I'm a leader everywhere I go. Why? Because I take care of people. I care about people. I check on people. I lift people up. I help people come up with plans and goals. I just do it so naturally, and I can't remember a time in my life I wasn't like that. And I see the same characteristics in you, Donte. What do you think?
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah. Do you see yourself as a leader?
Yeah, I can
and
see.
Why?
I definitely see myself as a leader. I didn't at first. I guess it was almost subliminal. Me leading people, like the story you said, of me getting all my friends to do the chores and things like that. And not while I was leading, I just said I had to clean, and they're like, okay, we'll help you, and that's how easy it was.
Wow.
But I guess at the end of the day, like from an outside perspective, I kind of was leading them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think really about myself is I'm kind of more like a Renaissance man. I love to do a lot of different things, and throughout my life I've done so many different things. I played football, I played soccer, baseball, I played the cello and orchestra, I've done acting. I mean, I've done so many things. I picked up martial arts, boxing. I've done just about everything in terms of hobbies and things like that. I also do a bit of fashion now, so I kind of just have a lot of talents. And I put use to them in that time, and I think just throughout that time, I've always found my way being some type of leader, find my way going against the grain, facing the status quo, not conforming to, what everyone is doing. And I've always did a good job of just like trying my best to be myself. And
I love that.
I think with me doing that, I kind of had to be a leader because I had to make my own path.
Yes.
And I think that's really been like the highlight of my life. It's just making my own path, being myself, and doing it my way.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I love that about you, Donte. You've always beat to a different drum. I remember when at Easter, I believe you were 3 or 4. And so I always let you guys pick out your Easter outfits. And so I'll never forget you wanted this canary yellow suit. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get my baby to go in a more conservative direction? At that time, we went to a Baptist church, was very conservative, and I was like, oh my goodness, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. But I always wanted you to be who you were, so I was like, okay, well, son, can you just, what else do you like? And then you picked out this bright red suit, and I was like, okay, this is my son right here. I'm like, okay, well, son, what else? Is there anything else you like? And finally, you decided on this baby blue suit. And you were so cute up there. Everybody else had on dark black and dark blue suits, and you had on your baby blue suit. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let my son be who he is.
Yeah. I didn't see the world. I guess I just didn't see the world how other people saw it.
Yeah.
I saw a black suit. I'm just like, oh my god, how boring is that? Like, they made this suit for a reason.
Oh yeah.
They made it for me to wear it, and I don't like this black suit. I want something like this. You know?
Awesome.
And that's how I still am. So I'm starting to learn that about myself. I was just made this way.
Yeah. I mean, a natural born leader, because leaders don't mind. Good leaders don't mind standing out.
Yeah.
I'm just like that. I knew I was always a little bit different. I could never be that mean girl. You know, I was always the one, if I saw someone that was lonely or hurting, I would go up to them. I talk to them. I try to encourage them. People would say, don't hang around that person. They're going to make you look bad. You know, the clique thing in high school. I always went against it. I'm like, I don't care about that. This person needs help. This person needs encouragement. This person needs a word. You know, so I think I've always been a minister, so I am a leader, but I'm also a minister of people. I just take care of people. I really do. And I have a strong discernment. I see through the people's hearts. And I think that's what makes me so effective with people. And then I take time to listen to them, their perspectives. I know that every perspective is needed, you know, whether I agree with it totally or not, it's still a perspective. It's something to be considered as part of the whole. So I've always known that from a very young age. I'm a mom, of course. I'm a nana. Love being a nana. And, you know, I'm an advocate. I wasn't always willing to just speak up and stand up against authority, right? I've always been willing to take care of the person who was weaker, okay? I'm always strong in that regard, but not always willing to speak up to the people in authority that could actually change things, or the people who are hurting others. Now, I do that. And so through this podcast, I'm going to advocate. I'm going to advocate for the employee. I'm going to advocate for the person who's hurting. And I'm going to advocate through leaders by training them how to do things better. And these leadership principles that we talk about on this show, Donte, would you agree they can be applied anywhere?
Oh yeah.
In any organization.
It's nature. And there's always good leaders in every part of the world at all times. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, there's always been good leadership.
Yes.
It's gonna carry on forever.
Awesome. Okay, well that's a little bit about who we are. So what I'd like to talk about is some of our core values of leadership. I wrote down on this paper here some of my core values, Donte, and I know you have some ready to go. So and I kind of like to get your input as I go along, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so I think leaders, for me, they look for a path that allows everyone to win. I don't believe or don't buy into the zero-sum theory that there has to be winners and losers. I think if everyone is open enough and contributes, we can find a way that everyone wins, everyone's successful. It doesn't mean everyone gets everything they want. You know, that's what's wrong. A lot of what's wrong with our society today is everybody just wants. Greed. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everyone gets what they need. Everyone gets a benefit from it. And so I look for the win-win scenario anytime I can as a leader. What do you think about that, Donte?
No, I definitely believe that everyone's a superstar in their own way, and you just have to help people find who they are. And I think once they find that, all the work is done at that point. And if they're following if they're doing their purpose, they're going to do their purpose no matter what.
Oh yeah.
And I think a leader helps everyone find their purpose and helps everyone do what they're supposed to do.
Oh yeah, wholeheartedly, son. So the other thing, Donte, is I think that there is no I in team.
Yeah.
So what that means is that everyone should be looking out for each other. And the leader, it's the leader's responsibility to make it an inclusive environment, to make sure that people are helping each other and taking care of each other, are respectful of each other. It is the leader's responsibility to make sure there's not favoritism taking place, that everyone has opportunity to grow, to learn, and to be their authentic self. What do you think about that?
I definitely believe that you should not put a wall in front of someone, because if you put that wall there, they're gonna break through no matter what. If you back someone into a corner, they're gonna come out fighting. You don't want that from someone. You want someone to be able to grow. You want someone to be able to learn, and you want to do everything in your power to help them grow and help them learn. Because if not, you're gonna be against the grain, and you don't want to be against the grain. You want people to flourish. You want people to thrive.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so that's the kind of leader I try to be as your mom. And I think that has allowed you to grow and flourish and be the young man that you are today. So I tell you what, there's something to be said for that.
Yes.
Because you never get your best from someone if you have their foot on their neck. If they're always feeling threatened and anxious and stressed and worried about losing their job or losing the relationship or losing favor with you as a leader, you have to stop that. You're never going to get the best. There's never going to be a sense of harmony and peace unless you allow them to flourish and be who they're meant to be and be their authentic self. So I wear my afro. I didn't used to do that. I used to feel intimidated by that. I used to feel like, oh, I gotta, straighten my hair. I gotta wear weaves so I can fit in. But no, this is my authentic who I am. You got a bandana on today, Donte. I love you. Always been like that. So we have to allow people to be their authentic self. Their authentic thoughts. They should feel comfortable to bring their own thoughts, because their thoughts are important. Their thoughts can make a difference in any organization, in the relationship, in whatever the situation is.
Yes.
All right, so the next one I have is serve those you lead by making sure they have all they need to be successful. And leaders forget this, they're sometimes they get bogged down with all these expectations, and these production numbers that they have to meet, and they forget that these numbers are actually people, and the people need someone looking out for them to make sure processes and policies are and the environment is conducive to them being their best and doing their best. And if you're focused on that, the numbers will follow. The relationship will follow. The happiness will follow. The harmony will follow. The peace will follow. What do you think about that one?
Oh yeah, most definitely. You're gonna know if someone's going 100%, and if you help them go 100%, there's nothing else you can really do. If you don't meet the standards, if you don't meet the expectations, then that's just what happened, and it's not anyone's fault. If everyone's doing the best they can, they're doing the best they can. Like, all you can do is just wake up the next day and go 100% again, and go 100% again, and you're gonna meet those expectations. If it's not gonna be the next day or the next day, it's gonna be one day.
Oh yeah.
And you just gotta keep on giving your heart into these people, and they're gonna flourish. They're gonna hit the expectation.
I agree, and they're gonna have your back.
Yes.
They're gonna have your back. They're not gonna let you down. Leaders forget that their success is through other people, and if the people that they lead are not successful, they're not successful. So why would you treat the people that you count on your success? Why would you treat them bad? Why would you make them feel small? Why would you not give them autonomy? Why would you not allow them to give suggestions? to give you feedback as well as take feedback, right? If you think about it from that perspective, it's ludicrous, but it happens all the time. Why? Because people are not thinking like that. They don't understand what a leader does. They don't understand the role. My last one I have is you gotta stand up for injustice. As a leader, if it's wrong, you gotta be willing to go to the people that can do something about it and say, this is not right. We have got to make this right for this customer. We've got to make this right for this employee. We have to stand up for people, because if you don't stand up for them, they're going to lose respect for you. And people absolutely choose if they want you to lead them or not. They may do what they have to do to keep their job. They may do what they have to do as the minimum, but you're never going to get their best, and they're never going to respect you. And they're not going to be loyal to you. Because why? Because you don't have their back. You don't have a backbone. How can they respect that? If they know that you don't have their back, they're gonna play cautious. They're gonna be cautious. They're not gonna take chances. They're not gonna take risks. They're not gonna open up and allow you in, because that makes them vulnerable, and you're not a trustworthy person. So what do you think about that one?
No, yeah, I definitely agree. You definitely have to stand up for people that can't stand up for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If you even have just a little bit of authority, just a little bit of power, and that could come from your position in employment. That could also just come from how good you are at the job. It could come from anything. If you feel like you have the power to say something, you need to say it,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what creates a team. That's what creates a really good team. That's what creates a really good community.
Yes.
When ideas clash against one another, it's going to create something even better than both of those ideas.
Oh my God.
And if someone is scared, if someone is anxious, if someone is uncomfortable where they are,
Mm-hmm.
if there's someone who truly cares about them, they need to stand up for them.
Yeah.
And also stand up for themselves. And stand up for
Wow.
anyone who can't stand up for themselves.
That is so good. Man, Donte, I got chill bumps from that one. All right, Donte, so why don't you take some time and share some of your core values about leadership?
So my biggest core value about leadership, and I think this is something that just something that I've just always done, and it's just built inside of me, is to just
Mm-hmm.
lead by example.
Okay.
And
I love that.
I discovered that through my time of working, because before I was in management, I was just always a good worker.
Mm-hmm.
I was always a good person. I always treated people right. I always worked super hard. I always did everything I could to make sure that we got the day done and we got it done good.
Yeah.
And I made sure everyone was happy. And I think that is like the number one thing about me that I do the best, is I just lead by example. And that's a way of leadership where you don't have to tell people anything. They look at you, they look at what you do, they see you, it inspires them, and they're like, okay, I want to be like him, I want to move like him, I want to talk like him.
Right.
And that's leading by example right there, and that's my number one core value.
Oh wow, I love that one.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
If people don't see you doing what you expect and say, that they're just gonna see right through that. They can't trust that. They're like, okay, they want me to do this, but they're doing the exact opposite. And you lose people's respect. When you lose people's respect, you lose the ability to influence them. You lose the ability to guide them and coach them in a certain direction. So yeah, absolutely, you have to live by example. Love that one.
Yes.
All right. What else you got?
Let's see here. So definitely example. Another one would be definitely just treating people right no matter what. I think
powerful one.
I think a leader has a really hard job because they're a human, and humans have emotions, and they have not just good emotions, a lot of bad emotions. But to be a leader, you have to really be in control of those emotions, because the way you carry yourself, it has a lot more impact than someone that is not a leader.
Wow.
And I think you have to really be in control of how you feel in your mood. You can't be a slave to it, because then you'll just be like everyone else, and you don't deserve that leadership position. You're not worthy of it. And it's messed up when you see a leader and they can't control their mood and they are treating people horribly, because that's how a business goes down. That's how a community goes down. That's how friendships go down. That's how a team goes down.
Yes.
It's not a good thing. So definitely treating people with the dignity that they deserve, because everyone has dignity. Everyone was born with dignity, and people have feelings, and you can hurt them. People are fragile beings.
Yes.
We just try to act like we're not, because we live in a world where we have to survive.
Right.
But everyone has a heart, and everyone feels. So you have to do your best to make sure that everyone feels good.
Okay, I love it, and it's so powerful because leaders absolutely can make or break that. They can make or break how someone feels on a daily basis. What they carry home to their family and their personal life. Are they going to carry negativity home? Or are they going to carry positivity home? You absolutely have control and influence over people's mental health. Why would you take that so lightly? Why would you be so reckless with people's feelings, with people's ideas? Why would you not include people? Why would you show favoritism? You know, we have to get back to humanity. It's okay that people have emotions and feelings, but as a leader, you gotta rise above. You gotta lead yourself first. So you gotta look in that mirror and say, am I setting and doing what I expect others to do? Am I being the person that can bring everyone along so I can make this environment, take the toxicity out of the environments? I mean, it's wearing me out. The jobs, you go on the jobs, and I'm like, I always find myself fixing the mistakes that other leaders are making. So not only am I not doing my job, but I'm going around fixing messes, which are people left behind with hurt feelings and frustrated and anger. I'm trying to get them lifted up so that I can work and get my job done. It's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting when all that leader has to do is say, you know what? I am going to go in with a positive attitude. I'm going to go around and get feedback from my people. I'm going to make sure they have what they need. I'm going to make sure they know I appreciate them. I respect them. I'm going to speak to them. I'm going to encourage them. I'm going to coach them. I'm going to hold them accountable so that I can make sure that everyone has what they need so everyone can have harmony. I believe in harmony. I believe it's possible. I have made it possible. I've done it in whole call centers before through an employee engagement committee. Yeah, I've completely changed the environment of whole call centers of hundreds of people before. So I know it's possible. All it needs is a strong leader to do it. And I will lead the other leaders in doing it also.
I believe
it's absolutely possible.
I agree.
Donte, I've walked in restaurants where you were a leader and the whole environment was just awesome. It was just sparking, it was life, and everybody's like, we love Donte, he is so awesome, he's always working so hard. And the whole time I was there, you was moving, you were serving, you was cooking, you was doing this, you was helping this, you was checking on this person. I was like, oh my gosh, all that energy. It reminded me of how I was in call centers. I was always moving and shaking and doing. I always did my administrative work after hours so I could be there, engaged with the people. It's important.
Yeah.
That's what leadership's all about.
Another thing that we should talk about definitely, because it's pretty important.
All right.
We are leading in the number one top growing state in the world, or in the country.
Yes.
Texas is the number one growing state in the country.
Okay.
So we're facing a lot of adversity. We're facing people coming here that we have no idea about. We have to treat them right. We have to know how to treat them.
Yes.
We're facing volumes, and we're facing a population growth that we're not used to.
Yes.
So the level of leadership that you have to have in this city it has to be really good.
Yes.
Because you're going to be facing a lot of challenges.
Oh, a lot of challenges with all the different cultures that are coming in. I mean, people are coming in from all over the world. And I think it's wonderful because they bring with them different perspectives, different ideas that can add to ours and make it better.
Yes.
The more ideas you have, the more perspectives you have, the better the end product. And as leaders, we have to capitalize on that. We have to encourage that. We have to facilitate that. We have to create an environment that allows for that diversity and inclusion. Oh my gosh, Donte, this is good. Give me some depth. I'm so excited about what this podcast can do. My vision is that this podcast becomes like a love train. A love train. Someone hears our podcast, they hear our interaction, they say, you know what? I'm going to send this to 10 people I know. Because guess what? Everyone's a leader because you first have to lead yourself.
Yes.
So our podcast is for everyone. Leadership principles are across the board. In every relationship, in every organization. It doesn't matter. Leadership principles work. They work. And if people understand how to make it, I don't like things to be complicated. I find the most simple way to state things. Sometimes people make things complicated so they can justify the price they're charging, justify their position, make themselves feel better. No, make it simple. So in our podcast, I envision it being simple. We're going to be doing skits. For some of your acting to practice, you know, hey, I'm a pretty good actress too. And we're just going to have discussions, just simple conversations, everyday conversations about problems that people face in leadership and leading themselves and leading others. What do you think?
No, yeah.
It's going to be great. All right, so to end our podcast, I just want to read this statement. Some thoughts I put about, you know, what makes a great leader, right? So I said, first of all, did you get to give all your core values?
Yeah,
did I cut you off?
No, because the last one was going to be standing up for yourself.
Oh, okay.
We already talked
about it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're on the same page. You just added to mine.
I guess one more would just be yourself.
Yes.
The whole time, because at the end of the day, that's all you have is yourself.
Yes.
That's if you have
Absolutely.
nothing. If you have nothing, then you have yourself, and you can always dig deep, and you can find that, and you'll be okay if you do.
Okay.
You know, yeah. That's
I love it. Be your authentic self.
Yeah, be your authentic self.
Yeah.
No one can take that away from you.
No, they really can't. They really can't. And here's the thing: everyone's authentic self is awesome. It's awesome. As long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting others, you can be your authentic self. You can give your opinions. You can wear what you feel like you need to wear, you know? You can be who you need to be. We're not supposed to look alike. That's boring. Everyone going around saying the same things, doing the same things. I mean, that's just not, first of all, it's not authentic. Second of all, it's boring. You know, life's supposed to be an adventure. It starts with us as individuals. So I like it.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Anything else?
Nope. That's
okay.
it.
All right. That was enough. Okay. All right. So I say a leader creates the vision. So they can explain the vision in a way that the people they lead can see the vision and then also see how they can benefit from the vision. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. It's almost like an orchestra. It's almost like a symphony. If you're listening to a symphony, you're not listening to just one person. You're listening to a group of people that are very different. You're listening to violin players, viola players, cello players, bass players, and they're all in their certain position. And if anything is not in the right place, it's not going to sound right, and it's not going to be right. It's not going to go right. It's kind of like that in a way. Like everyone has their certain purpose, and if we get the purpose in the right position, and everyone's doing their purpose all together, it's going to create that vision.
Oh my God, that's called world peace. That's called harmony.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. So then I said, so once the leader creates the vision, then they have to help each individual understand the part they play in creating that vision. So your orchestra analogy was right on point with that. Mm-hmm. Everyone has to see how their individual part plays into the big picture. They have to understand the big picture, and then they have to understand what part they play. What do you think?
Exactly. Like, if deep down you are a violin player but you're playing the cello, you're always going to be in battle with yourself, and you're never going to be able to find peace because you're trying to be something that you're not.
Wow.
You want someone to be themselves. You want someone to do what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
That way they're going to be helping you fight and not fighting themselves and not fighting you and not fighting everything around them.
Oh my gosh. And that's what's happening today.
Yeah.
People are not fulfilling their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing jobs and things things because of other people say they should, or they feel like that makes the most money, or that gets them the most prestige, or that looks the best, right? But what happens to that dream that's in our heart, that thing we were meant to do, that thing we do so naturally? We're leaders, right? Everyone's not a leader though.
Yeah.
So why do they find themselves in leadership positions when that's really not their acumen? You know, they pursue a job and go to school and spend all this money for a job that they hate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we gotta stop that.
Yeah.
And leaders, we have a responsibility to help people find their purpose, to get grounded in what that they are good at, what their skills are, what they have a passion for, and let them give them a way to do it. Give them an outlet for that. They'll be happier and they'll contribute more.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey! Blowing it up!
Another reason why I think people can't find their purpose is because I don't think people want people to find their purposes. I truly believe that people want to keep their foot on people's necks because it gives them more power.
Control.
It makes them feel better.
Oh my gosh.
Stronger. And
yeah.
I think people we really have to get over that. And
yes.
It's a lot of leaders now that need to get over that. I
believe. We can't control. Only person you can control is who? Yourself. That's it.
And it's the worst thing that if you know you're a violin player and there's someone telling you every day you're a cello player, but you know you're a violin player, there's nothing worse than that.
Oh man.
You know, there's nothing worse than that, and that creates war.
Oh my gosh.
That creates a war because you have to fight to be who you want to be.
Wow, that is so insightful. That's profound. I got chills from that one, Donte. All right, so here's what I also said. I said the leader maintains the eagle eye view. So if you think about the eagle, it's flying high. It can see everything, all the little parts and how everything goes together. It can see something that's out of place, right? It's looking for something out of place, some movement, right? So it can swoop down and get whatever that is it's trying to eat or whatever, right? So what I'm saying is, someone needs to keep an eye on the overall view. They need to be seeing what everyone's doing, so that if someone doesn't quite understand or ventures off the path, or something changes, maybe the customer demand changes, or there's an environmental change that needs to be considered so that the vision can stay complete. I think that's missing today. So no one has their eye on the ball. And everything's chaotic. People are running around bumping into walls, bumping into each other, because what our leaders are failing. They are not focused on the right things. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I totally agree that. And especially like a good example is like in this city, it's so chaotic. It's super chaotic. Any job you work at right now, it's going to be chaotic. And if there's someone that can't control that chaos, that can't find that peace and can't see over it, it's just all going to be just hard. It's just going to be difficult. Yeah. And if no one's telling you, this is where you need to be, this is where you need to be, this is how it's supposed to work, and no one can follow that, everyone's going to be lost. Yeah. No one's going to know what to do. Everyone's just going to be miserable.
Frustrated, angry, and that's what we see today. And it's just toxic. Oh my gosh, leaders, stand up in the mirror, look at yourself and say, what do I need to do different? Because I'm failing my people. You know, it's hard as a leader to say, you know what, if my team is failing, I have to look at myself first. Sometimes, yes, sometimes it's that I need to hold them accountable, but leaders are so quick to go to accountability. Oh, I'm just hold that person accountable. I'm just going to write that person. No, I'm just going to get rid of that person. No, but wait a minute. Let's take a step back. Does that person have all of the processes? Do they have an understanding of the processes? Do they have the skills that they need? Have you taken the time to train them in the way that they need to be trained? Is the system set up against them to make their job harder, or is there something you can change to make it easier for them? We give up too easy. We take the easy route called accountability. But we need to be accountable as leaders to say, you know what can I do to serve them? I think you said something about servant leadership.
Oh yes.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
So I think another big key like value about leadership is definitely like a leader is a servant. Like a leader is there to serve the people that are under him. You're supposed to make them feel better. You're supposed to make them feel stronger. You're supposed to motivate them. You know, you're supposed to lead the way, and that is gonna serve them to do something great. And that is literally what leadership is. It's not really even about making people feel like they're lesser than or belittling people or things like that.
Right.
No, you should be below them because you have to make sure they're doing the right things and they become great. And if they don't become great, you are not serving them. You are not a true leader.
Yes, I agree. People want to succeed. Sometimes they come off as, oh, I don't care. That's a defense mechanism. You got to see through that as a leader. People walk in the door to be successful. People go into a relationship to be successful. Parents want to be successful. Teachers want to be successful. Politicians want to be successful, but we're failing. We're failing all around, right? So let's take a minute and take a step back and say, me, what is it I can do? What can I improve on? What knowledge can I gain? What podcast can I listen to that's going to help give me a better insight into what I can do to change? Because at the end of the day, we have to make a decision as an individual to make a change, to be different, to be the change we want to see. And that's where leadership comes in. Everyone must lead themselves first.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So my vision, again, for this podcast, and I believe it's your vision too, Donte, is that we want to inspire people to lead in a different way, themselves and others. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
And it's through that leadership we can create a community, a sense of community. We can get back to taking care of each other. We can get back to seeing outside of ourselves. We can get back to harmony, peace, love, joy, healing. We need to heal. This world needs healing. And as a minister, I feel it so deeply, you know, and I believe most people know they need healing. They know they've been traumatized. They are suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Most of us are walking around with that from our jobs, from our relationships. Come on, we gotta stand up and do something different, but it starts with us. A personal decision to do something different, to change myself for the better and for others, and to set an example. That's what I see us inspiring people to do. What do you think, Donte?
Yeah, took the words right out of me.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say before we end it today?
No, I think we covered it all.
Yeah.
Today. Yeah, that was a really good podcast.
Oh wow! I mean, that was a great session. Next week, our plan is to do it once a week, right? On your day off, and so I'm a little more flexible in my schedule. But next time, I think we'll talk about team building. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. Team building is our next topic. All right. Well, Heartbeats, I'm just asking that if you're listening to this podcast and it made a difference for you, if something resonated with you and you know someone who needs to hear it, who could benefit from it, who would be inspired by it, send it to them. 10, 20, one person, anybody, send it to them. We want to start a love train. We want it to go all around the world. We want it to be like a pebble in a pond where the ripples get wider and wider and wider. This podcast is that pebble. Help us spread the word. There's a different way to look at things. All right. Thank you for listening, Heartbeats. The heartbeat of leadership.